welcome back to my channel. My name's Miranda. You can call me Panda. And today we will be having a little chit chat, a little talky talk about my mental health. This is a video that I have been wanting to make for a while now, but I just didn't feel ready. I actually recorded it once already, but I didn't really like the video in a whole. I felt like I was kind of rambling. So here we are, take two, recording it again. But yeah, I felt like I wanted to talk about it because my coping mechanism, a really, really strong and not necessarily good coping mechanism I have, is to like joke and make light about my mental health. And between that and not really talking about or going into depth what's really going on up here, a lot of people don't really understand how bad my mental health has gotten or, is. And so I just wanted to be a little bit more candid, a little bit more open about that because I'm trying to go into a new season of my life where I'm a lot more comfortable with relaying when I'm not okay and, when I do need assistance and help from the people around me, because I feel like I do have great support systems and I do have family and friends that love me. I just don't take advantage of it because for a long time I felt that it was 100% my responsibility to right the wrongs in my life, and, just having control issues about me being the only person who can, like, fix everything that goes on in my life and my friends and family's lives and just stuff like that, and it stresses me out. So I am trying to enter a phase in my life where I kind of undress from those thoughts and, wear a more open and honest persona rather than a more stoic and, like, I don't need help. I got this. I'm okay. I'm fine. I will be okay. And stuff like that. Because even though I always know that I will inevitably be okay because I just feel very blessed in everything I do, and I just have faith that I will never fail. It's battling the insecurities around not knowing, as well as the insecurities of not letting other people know that I don't know what the heck is going on. So yeah, basically for like the past 7 years of my life I've been struggling very, very badly with depression, anxiety, and within the last couple of years, probably like last 3 or 4, I've also been dealing with a little ditty called psychosis, which is not fun for anybody who has ever experienced it or knows what it is. Yeah, so I guess from the beginning, most people will know that my dad passed away when I was a junior in high school, and so that kind of like started everything. That was a very transitionary period in my life because I was not only thinking about going to school, going away for college and all that stuff, but I finally felt like, I was developing who I was, and then my dad passed away. So then a big chunk of me kind of like died when all of that happened because I just did not have the ability to deal with that at the time, and I spiraled. Then I had to pick myself back up because I had to go to school and I had to do all this other stuff. But I had to do all this other stuff that, were big life moments without my dad. And even though my mom was here and I love her to bits and pieces, it's not the same. And I think we all recognized that it wasn't the same, but it was just really hard. I did not feel like I had time to breathe. And so when I went away to college and I was having all these nice experiences and all this other stuff, it was still weighing on me. And then I entered a relationship that now I can admit was mentally abusive, and it was a very big low point in my life. And after that relationship, because it lasted for far too long, I was spiraling even more. But just so much happened that like now I had another reason to spiral and question myself and everything. I already didn't feel like I knew who I was after my dad's passing away. And then I got in that relationship and it just kind of like felt like I was stripped of any other identity. So it caused me to just question myself, question the world, question why I was even here. And then I got into a more healthy relationship, which was great. And it definitely helped heal me at the time. However, it caused me to not really think about what happened in the previous relationship I was in. And so now here I am, like 3 years later, dealing with the repercussions of that previous relationship. And it's been hard. Like 2020 really opened my eyes to a lot of things that I have to work on within myself and how damaging that relationship was, because since I didn't think about it, I kind of just like packaged it up in my mind, put it in the back of the closet, and just said I'm not going to think about that anymore. Because of that, I thought that a lot of the stuff that I was feeling during that time was because of my dad and solely because of my dad. But I've now come to realize that a lot of the weight that I was carrying on my shoulders during that time was just because I like refused to unpack anything that happened during that relationship, to the point where like I had even forgotten about it and convinced myself that it didn't happen. And so after graduating and having a lot more time to focus on other things besides graduating and finishing school and stuff, because I almost dropped out at one point because of all of this that was going on, I was able to reflect because, like I mentioned earlier, I've been dealing with psychosis, and so basically it was very frustrating, and it was part of the reason why back in like 2018 I decided to go to therapy, because it had gotten so bad that I was so paranoid about everything. I was so anxious, and I was working, I was going to school, I was barely sleeping, and it was just the worst point previous to 2020. So yeah, this was like back in 2018 where I kind of made the decision that I have to go to therapy, and I would not re-enroll in school until I felt comfortable and confident with doing so. And so I did therapy over the summer. I ended up learning that made me feel comfortable and confident with re-enrolling the next semester, because I did not anticipate on doing that. And then I was proud of myself for, using those tools when I got back on campus, and then finally, completing school. But as of 2020, that honestly was the lowest point in my life. So, on top of depression, anxiety, psychosis, I also struggle with suicidal ideation, which, kind of sometimes comes with the territory when it comes to depression and anxiety. And so it's something that is not foreign to me. I've been dealing with it since my dad's death. But I have to say that 2020 was the hardest year in terms of walking myself off the cliff. And there were a couple of nights where I just didn't feel like I had it in me to walk myself off the cliff mentally. And so I just chose to go to sleep. And, thank God I have like put in place like healthy habits where like I make a schedule for myself. I try not to stay up late anymore. I try to tailor my schedule to prevent me from kind of slipping back into these routines and stuff. But in 2020, it just, having revelations about my previous abusive relationship, my dog passed away, dealing with COVID, starting a new job, breaking up with my boyfriend, and, a slew of other things that should have been happy, but because my dad's not here, they weren't, just really weighed down on me and made me feel like, what is the point? So all of last year, I was just working on developing internal motivation for staying alive. Whereas I had a lot of external motivation, and that is honestly what has helped me stay alive throughout these years. Last year, it just honestly wasn't enough, and so I was battling, trying to, make little everyday goals that kept me going, of just like, something's coming on the TV, or you have this to look forward to, so just make it a couple more hours, and then, like, something may have been happening later in the week, so I'm like, just make it a couple more days, and then, a big event could be coming up, so then make it a couple more months and things like that. So, like, literally living hour by hour, day by day was the mood for 2020, and it was scary. I'm proud of myself for making it through it. However, I do not want to do that again, and I will not do that again, because it was scary and taxing and very exhausting. And a lot of people in my life didn't know how deep it went, because I wasn't telling them. They just saw maybe short bursts, or you saw nothing at all. So I just realized how chaotic and scary last year was, and in an effort to prevent having, not in an effort to prevent being that low again, but in an effort to prevent having to be the only thing that ushered myself through that phase, I am trying to be more candid with people and let them know, because for a long time I was very, very embarrassed by the psychosis thing. I was very embarrassed about my level of anxiety and paranoia that I was experiencing, which is why I never talked to anybody, because I had put it in my head that these, even though I didn't know that they weren't normal, it was like my fault why I was feeling that. I did not know at the time that these things were a product of me being severely depressed, because I am also a very high functioning depressed person, where like I can still get things done around me and still be presentable to people, and like putting that mask on is very easy for me. And so people just don't know, and then I go home at night and I cry myself to sleep, or I wake up in the morning and I cry to start the day, and then I just put my clothes on and I go out into the world as if, like, these things aren't happening. I don't want to do that anymore. I recognize that it's very unhealthy. It served its purpose at the time. However, at this point in my life, I would like to find better ways to deal with that, and better ways to be comfortable talking about these things. I know everybody's kind of like, because of the pandemic, bringing everybody down. Everybody's more so on a mental health is important and mental health awareness wave, and I hope this wave continues and that it just doesn't crash somewhere, because mental health is very important, and it's something that I take very, 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 very seriously, considering how many days it was like very touch and go for me. But I do want to thank everybody for being there for me, for being just, who they are, even if you didn't know exactly what was going on with me, and if you did know the bits and pieces of what was happening with me, you still offered support and help and all that stuff. It was very much appreciated. And I don't want anybody to feel like, I don't trust them, or, they're not doing enough in my life. It's strictly just me and how I feel about what's going on with me. I just felt at the time like to do everything all by myself, and I'm recognizing now that it is okay to admit that I'm not okay. It is okay to tell people like, hey, I don't have the space for this right now, because I have a bunch of other shit that I need to take care of before I can help take care of you and stuff. So it's a learning process, and I do want to say that I am better now. I'm not 100%. I'm not gonna lie. Recent events have really just made my head a little bit more swirly right now, but I am living for me, which is simultaneously scary and exhilarating. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I just really feel like I've allowed myself to push what's going on with me to the side in an effort to seem like I had it all together, and then let myself go to the end of the roads to assist other people when I knew that I didn't have my shit together. So I'm going to be more open about it. That's basically what this video is about. Just letting you know where I've been, where I'm at, and where I plan to go. So more accountability, more awareness, more honesty, truth, self-confidence, self-love, all of that jazz is what I'm trying to do with this video. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope that maybe this empowers other people to kind of focus on their mental health. I'm a very big therapy advocate. I love my current therapist that I had. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this either inspires anybody else to figure out what's going on with them, be open, honest about it, or anything. But yeah, have a great rest of your day. And tune in for more content, hopefully. Hopefully. Oh my god, this is so awkward.